Learning Technologies is Europe's leading showcase for organisational learning and technology. Here at Olympia in London, Unicorn Training used this opportunity to unveil their brand new Learning Ecosphere.
It's a philosophy that Unicorn's adopted on the basis of talking to lots of our clients and the industry and understanding that enterprises have got a challenge. They don't know how to enter it from one side or the other. What they think they need versus what they think the learners want, and what the reality of what the learners really want, they can't get their heads around. So we've adopted that philosophy to ensure that we can help organisations look at where they can best meet the requirements of the learner.
The Learning Ecosphere is one circle split into two. The enterprise-focused things you must learn, with this continuing to be a core element of L&D strategy on the left, and on the right-hand side, this is the learner-focused world that holds the potential to augment and enhance the personal learning experience.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive, and the challenge is that if you look, as you can see, if you look on the left-hand side, it's what the enterprises have been kind of forced to do. So what you've got a situation is that they've got to do things that are in compliance, they've got to make things to a certain degree secure behind a firewall, and you've got a situation whereby that's what they've done and what the learner knows they have to do. The other side of it is how the learner behaves. So the learner actually is engaged with a mobile device, and they're used to having mobile devices in their hand, so there's a certain expectation. And so where corporates come in, they sort of struggle because they're sort of saying, well, this is outside the firewall. So what you're able to do here is actually say they're not mutually exclusive. One will benefit the other. So if you address what the learner wants and how the learner wants to learn, you will get a better return on investment on your enterprise side as well.
All this technology, but what next? And just how quickly is everything moving forward?
Even 10 years ago, if you go back 20 years, you go back to 92, the internet came to place. Then you move on and you've got Google and you've got Snapchat and Instagram and Tinder and whatever other things. It's moving at a rate, and so is technology. The iPhone is 10 years old this year. The iPad is only 7 years old. So April this year, 7 years old. It's crazy to think that technology is only that young, but it is moving at a pace. And so the impact on learning is that the learner requirements are changing. Everything's changing. We have an assumption that we're going to be able to do it on our handheld device. So whether it's turning our heating on, ordering a coffee from Starbucks, or consuming some form of media, whether it be learning or news, I expect to be able to consume it via my handheld device.
Unicorn has always been one of the front runners of the e-learning industry, but how can they work with you?
A lot of what we've always done is listen to what the market, their needs and pain points are. And there's always a risk of whether or not you want to be cutting edge, bleeding edge. The fact is, you just got to listen to what the audience is asking for. Don't develop what you do just because somebody else is developing it. Develop it to the needs of your audience. And our audience, it's ultimately the learner. They're the ones who consume what we do. Our customer is the organisation. So what we have to try and do is say, well, look, this is what the audience is after, so the learner. This is what you need as a corporate, and then we'll evolve what we do. Some of the things we are doing is making it so that you can actually collaborate with your secure LMS. You can actually comment and find useful ways of actually sharing within the LMS. The problem is the learner won't do it. The learner's psychology says this is a controlled environment. The learner will collaborate, share, and make use of things within their mobile device. So what we've been trying to do is actually say, let's build learning reinforcement apps. Let's build just-in-time content, and let's aggregate that into one location so the learner can actually do that bit whenever they like, and when they're required to do something more formal, they know they need to pretty much log onto their desktop, or via the app into their desktop. So it's still appealing to their device, but they know they're going into a more secure, compliant environment versus the more sort of open, collaborative environment. And then throw in some games for good measure. You've probably seen at the show today, you've got two life-size avatars walking around in bright orange suits. They tried to convince me to wear one, I wasn't having it, but there's two of them, which is enough. But that's about games, quizzes, short, sharp things that they can do just in time.